Well, good morning, good afternoon. This is Toni Weel with Sarah from Virtuous Unicorns, and I have with me Bella, my little screaming long-hair cat. I hope she's going to be a little more quiet today and not walk over my laptop.
You can put her little 2 cents in.
Yeah, once in a while she absolutely has to, because every time, I think I mentioned that every time I talk, she feels I'm talking to her and she's just answering back.
Well, they are connected to the spirit dimension more than what we are, is what they say. So maybe she's passing stuff on from the beyond for us.
Well, that would be interesting. Now we need to learn cat language.
Yes. Yeah.
For everyone who wants to join us up on the Zoom call, which is an option where you can share, whatever you want to share. And great would be your stories about how you're dealing with your health. It is posted. I will pin it. I think I can do that. So pin message, it's on the top. And we are today having our episode 40. It's a good thing I have it right in front of my nose, otherwise I would probably forget. And we just chit chat about health. We don't really come up with questions. It's like you guys come up with the questions and we try to get to some answers. We'll try. And Kathy, thank you so much. Or Katie. Katie is always there with questions. I love it. And okay. I made Dr. Morse's lemon drink for detoxing, and when I drink it, it has a burning sensation on my throat. Then kind of makes me itch. What do you think is causing it? I have no idea. And you do it with enough water, because I'm right now on a lemon water fast, and I have 2 lemons in 1 quart, 1 liter of water. And I do add a little maple syrup. So maybe try with less lemon. I don't know. I think you see how it turns out. How long have you been doing that? Is it only the first time, or is it still the same? I think the maple syrup makes it, for me at least, makes it a little smoother, a little easier.
I wonder if the lemon is detoxing something out. So I agree with you on that. Maybe cut back on the lemon just a little bit and let it come out slowly.
Yeah.
Not sure what's going on there either.
It may take some time. And I have some good news for you, Katie, and for everyone who has children. In the ebook I've been putting together, which I have to say, there's nothing of my own writings. I collected a lot of information from people that I talked to, from others who have added to our learning. Dr. Morse, of course, a lot of the stuff comes from Grapegate and other great writers, but there is a whole section specifically about children. And I came across it and I was like, I absolutely have to include this, because this is great information. It goes from thrush to ear infections to even depression in children. So there's some great information in it. I was hoping I would have it ready already, but it is a lot of work. I'm over 200 pages, and then even today I came across, like, when is a fruit really ripe? And I thought, this is information that we also need. And because there are always so much questions in it, and I actually put all these writings, this book with all the articles together based on all the questions that I keep getting to answer them. But it is absolutely not a replacement for Dr. Morse's book, because that is the one that you absolutely, well, I would say it's like your health Bible. I would suggest everyone get that. It's the Detox Miracle Source Book. and it is about raw foods and herbs for complete cellular regeneration. And he writes on for the ones who haven't heard about it, he writes on the cover, revitalize every system of your body, maximize the healing power of nature, cleanse toxins, and heal the cause of disease. And this is written by Dr. Morse. You can get it in a binder version. I have that one. Plus, I have this the one in a, what do you call that? Spiral?
Yep.
Spiral. It is 370 pages, and there is so much information in it. I used it when I was studying to become a detox counselor. And it still is, a valuable resource book. That is what it is. And the Detox Miracle Resource Book. It's a title. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it, I think, still from Dr. Morse's website. Only the one in the spiral bound is on Amazon. Costs a little bit more. And you can have your book spiralized.
I like it.
Oh, and this is funny. Now I see, the book going down the drain, spiralized, spiral bounds. You can have that done in, I don't know, some printing companies or something. I've seen it done. I used to do it myself way back when I was still in the travel business. But if you have it spiral bound, it's so much easier to use.
It really is, because it can lay flat and everything for you as well too.
Yeah.
Yep.
And if you sometimes want to copy something, it's easily done. So anyway, that is the part of the book, which is, it's your Bible. And going back to that, when a fruit is ripe, it will also have a section on how you store your fruit, and does it ripen after that you bought it, after it's off the tree, and should you store it cold or at a room temperature? It's like, your apples you can store cold, but like what is it? What was I thinking of? I was citrus fruits. Yes, I do store them cold.
I do too. I know you can do both, but I like my orange juice cold.
Yes, it does. It definitely tastes better. And I keep my grapes cold, and but it's like the fruit that actually ripened out of the tree, and I wasn't even aware of that. We knew about, mangoes and pears and apples. I didn't even know that actually melons ripen off the tree, and nectarines. I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
And a pineapple does not. So don't ever think that you can buy a ripe pineapple in the store. You can't. You can buy it all green and you think it'll ripen on the counter. No, it's just start fermenting and rotting, and it's still it's still acidic. Too bad. If you grow them yourselves, which I did, and it's fun to do. It takes a while though.
Mm-hmm.
If you wanna eat an pineapple every day.
I mean, if we could get the real ones that don't have the high bromamine in them, I mean, that would be fantastic. But I can't eat pineapple. It eats my mouth up.
I used to, it was always easy, but something has changed. Oh, and by the way, a watermelon does not ripe off the vines. Mm-hmm. It only starts rotting. So you either get it good or it's done.
Yeah. I was gonna say like two things though, about like the spiralizing of the book or whatever, but that's all the language that we've been taught isn't even like a true language. It's just been like the proper English and whatnot too. So I love making up words and the words that make sense to me, because I think that could possibly be the true language anyway. And who knows what they really contorted all the words for us too. So I love making up words.
Yeah, and in the mean, I do want to. We have two people on, and I will answer Katie's questions before I welcome them.
Okay.
Katie, you were asking, when juicing, is making a smoothie considered a juice? No, it is not. You know, with juicing, you take the fibers out. With a smoothie, you leave the fibers in. Big difference.
But I have noticed too that smoothies do help people in transition because
Yeah.
when you're coming from the SAD diet, we're so used to having that bloaty, full feeling. And so smoothies do help a lot with people transitioning. And, there's certain times of the month where I think both men and women are more hungry than others. I know that is the way for my family, at least. So sometimes I prefer a smoothie over juice, but most of the time we are juicing. And on that topic, I'm so bummed we don't have oranges. I haven't had oranges it's been a week now. I've switched over to grapes and I did have some apple cider and it didn't sit well with me. I tell you the truth, I have no idea what was in it, but supposedly it's just cold pressed apple cider.
Yeah, but if you cold pressed and you bought it in a store, bottled.
I did. We were doing like the little fall activities and I was like, man, I really want some apple cider.
Yeah, but was the apple juice, did they say it was freshly cold pressed?
That's what it supposedly says. And I don't know.
Because in a store, you're not even allowed to sell anything that is.
This was a little farm. So.
Oh, then maybe it is.
Yeah.
It will, if you put lemon in it and a little ginger in it, it stays good, for a few days even.
Right. So maybe I don't know, maybe it fermented too much or something like that. I'm not sure.
That is a thing, because yesterday I was gone the whole day and I had apple juice with me, but it was kind of warm in the car.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, there was a little, like a thing to it.
Yeah.
So
it tasted good.
I threw it out. It eventually becomes apple cider vinegar.
Yeah. So maybe, I don't know. I would be willing to try to make my own, but make sure it is like a small batch fresh. But definitely the bought stuff did not sit well. So.
Well, we made some this morning and we added ginger in it. And I think we had about 8 pounds.
Wow.
More 10 pounds of apples and used 3 lemons in it.
Yeah. And we did get some Honeycrisp apples. They were organic and they had all kinds of blemishes on them, but we just cut out those blemishes and they were so good. It was so, I don't know. I guess I kind of got a little chuckle about it, but people were avoiding them because of the blemishes. And I was like, whatever, cut it out. If it has a worm in it, that's the good stuff because at least the worm's eating it.
Yeah, as a kid, we used to eat around the worm. There was a worm in it. Okay, we eat around it.
Mm-hmm.
Because as soon as we pick it, the worm left. It didn't stay there. But that was a normal thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now you want apples without any blemishes. I just mentioned I had 2 people on. I know JV is on, but there was a lady on, and she disappeared.
Oh, I'll say I did. I have JV.
Sorry to see that, but yeah.
Yep. But hopefully our oranges will be back. They said 2 weeks will be about the Valencia orange time frame.
Yeah.
Grant, you said that you haven't seen a good juicing orange in a long time. I'll ask the people that where I get mine from. They do sell to like our local restaurants and smaller grocery stores, but I don't know if they do any kind of shipping, if you'd be interested in anything like that. But I'll ask next time I'm there in a couple weeks. Maybe just see if you can get online and see if you can get some delivered. They're heavy as can be, so I can't even imagine how expensive shipping would be. I hope you find some because it's good.
Yeah, it's I was at the farmer's market and she had some oranges. You could barely get any juice out of it. If you got a spoonful, a teaspoon out of 1 orange, it was like, I don't even know what to do with it.
Yeah, it took me over 20 oranges of the last batch just to even get 32 ounces, and nothing was coming out of them, so it wasn't any good.
I have to answer Dave, and if I got your email, no, I did not. Did you send it to healthywithfruit@gmail.com?
Mm-hmm.
The difference between apple juice and apple cider, do you know?
I do. Apple cider is usually unfiltered, fresh, and often unpasteurized. I'm reading it. I wish I knew right off the top of my head.
So when we
they-
use our apple, then it's not apple juice, it's apple cider. That makes no sense.
Yeah, it's fresh, unfiltered, and often unpasteurized.
Okay.
And they said that apple juice, on the other hand, is filtered and pasteurized. So I assume they're talking store-bought.
Yeah.
So,
We our apple juice is apple juice. It's still not apple cider. Okay.
yeah. Yep. So per store definitions, maybe this is the only reason those two words exist, is how you would purchase them from the store. But if we're making it ourselves at home, it sounds like it's all cider to us, but we're just going to call it apple juice. There'd be no difference for us doing it.
What would you even want to filter out?
Yeah. Right. I mean, people filter pulp out too with their orange juice, and I mean, don't bother me. I mean, even there's a seed in there, I'm like, whoops. I guess I'm growing an orange in my belly.
That's what we were always told when we were kids.
Us too.
Never happened.
Oh yeah. Well, Juan, welcome. Welcome to the show. If you can hear us.
My gosh, I was like, I have to go back to my Zoom thing, see what's going on there. Okay, JV doesn't have sound yet.
Oh, okay.
So he doesn't get to talk.
Uh-oh. Better figure it out.
Yeah.
Yep. Like with the worm and stuff, what we were just talking about too, in our apple, we've been doing a lot of cleaning up of the field, preparing for winter. And so we've been pretty much cutting wood and stuff like day and night. We actually burned all the way until almost 10 o'clock at night that one day. So it was well over like 14 hours. But I've even been like pulling all the spiders off everything. I've been taking all the worms out, the little pill bugs, everything, just trying to make sure I'm not throwing anything in the fire, and just keeping my eye out. I mean, just when you really commit to this life, everything like really changes, and you start seeing all the small things and everything you just start caring about, where I've always cared about it, but I don't think I would have paid so much attention. It's almost like I'm in tune to it as well too. And I haven't been picking up the big spiders, but like the daddy long legs and stuff, like, I don't know, I'm just not even afraid of them anymore. And big spiders, I just kind of shoo them away, and it's like they understand, or they most likely understand. And yeah, it's just I don't know, it has a different feel this year than it has in the past.
It's conscious living.
Mm-hmm.
I think in the last few years, we have learned more than in 20 years before.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing with everything that happened in the world, which direction it actually forced us to look at.
It has. It gave us all 2020 vision during that time, and now we've all been rethinking almost every aspect of our lives, it seems. Yeah, Grant, I agree with you too. It is like, I believe the cider is more like of a fermenting. That's what I've always kind of thought of it that way as well. And I'm thinking maybe the batch I got might have been fermented too much or something in my body. Just, it didn't like it.
That is where you have hard apple cider, because that is when it turned to alcohol.
Maybe I was getting drunk.
Yeah, seriously.
They said I was acting. No kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, but I do. Cider is similar to moonshine. That's something to think about. Oh, we see JV now. We see you, Juan, but so far we don't hear you. Maybe there's a slight delay too.
No, I think his sound is just not working.
No, I can't hear you. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, there it goes. That's connecting to audio. Not quite yet.
We can see him, but we cannot yet hear him.
Can you hear me?
Now we can hear you.
There we go. Hey, how are you?
Oh, hi. You can't, you can't hear me.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Hi.
I
Oh,
don't think that Jay can hear us.
Oh, maybe not.
do you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Oh, I got, wait. Okay, I have to mute YouTube. All right. Right. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay. Wow, it's been a couple of weeks. I tried to join in, I think, during your big hurricane, and you didn't have a show that day. How did you fare?
We've heard okay here. There is a tremendous amount of damages to the area where I live. Roofs blowing off, carports gone. It's lots of damage. Many trees down. The roads were actually green with everything that blew off the trees. And it's pile after pile after pile of trees and branches. And but we have not heard of anybody dying here. We were actually in the eye of the storm, which means a lot of twisters. And that is what does the most damage. And it was, I had some anxiety because we just had put up a new roof about, less than 2 months ago. So I was like, oh my God, no. But it fared well. And what we saw in the houses around us, it's mostly the older roofs that were blown off. And twisters can do a lot of damage. I mean, the wind is strong, but if you get a twister, it's like amazing. You know, it's a little tornadoes. And even seen a tree, trunk stump. It was, you could see the twisting in the tree, like it was turned around and then broke off. It's amazing. It's still not all cleared. It's a lot of the stuff is still there. But yeah, we are all okay. We had very minor damage, not even to be mentioned. It's so only I lost a huge cactus that was an amazing thing to see here. It was as high as the roof with a lot of flowers, so it was fruit bearing. So it would have a lot of fruit, and it toppled over, and you couldn't save it. We saved a few pieces and put them in pots and see what happens and grow them again. But it took 18 years to get to the size it was. And my papaya tree did not survive. It toppled over, and it's dead now. It still has fruits on it, so we'll see what happened with the fruits. But that was all the only damage that I had. And I have a lot of potted plants, but they're all fine.
Isn't Sarah in Florida too?
No, Sarah is in Ohio.
I'm in the 17th state. Good old Ohio.
Oh, 17. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, Ohio. That's not too far from Florida, is it?
About 15 hours.
So how are you doing with your diet now?
Wow, that's funny you say diet, because I think you have to be eating food to have a diet, don't you?
Yeah, I don't like the
Actually,
word diet. Yeah, I don't like the word diet, but everybody knows what I mean when I talk. And it's the same
Yeah.
with detox. We call anything and everything a detox, a 3-day detox. No such thing. A detox is just changing your eating and eating the food that is meant for us. And then you detox until you get healthy, and then you still eat fruit.
Yeah. Well, last week then I wasn't on the show. I actually was with a friend, and we went to various locations. I don't know if you're familiar with, like, here in California, there's a place called Lake Tahoe and Yosemite and Santa Cruz. So I was doing a little bit of traveling, And my born day was October the 8th. And I've been doing annually to commemorate my birthday a water fast. So as you know, last month in September, I did the 14-day. And what I had been doing in the past was just doing a 10-day starting on the 1st. And it's kind of funny because, generally people, when they have a birthday, it's like, big celebration, and they have their cake and all that kind of stuff. But, it's kind of like, it seems like people get disappointed when it's kind of like, why are you fasting? And it's like, we want to party, we want to celebrate, but it really, it makes it easy for me to start something on the 1st, that way I know, the days consecutively. And so I thought this particular month, this year, since I had did a 14-day last month, I said, well, I should probably just do 14 because I felt so good. And so what's today, the 13th? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go 20.
On a water fast. Wow. Well, happy late born day. And I felt like you were a Libra from the very first moment we were even chatting, even in the chats on Charlie's shows and stuff too.
Really? How do you know Libras?
They just easygoing and just, I don't know, all my experiences I've ever had with them is just very easygoing, good, easy to get along with, and outgoing, stuff like that. So yeah.
Oh, what's your sign?
I'm a Gemini.
Oh, right on. Gemini. That's a cool sign.
Absolutely.
That's supposed to be the masculine and the feminine joining together. It's been explained to me differently by Charlie than what most people say. It's kind of like having twin personalities and stuff like that, but it's actually nothing like that after Charlie explained it.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like it's maybe I was one person at one time and now I'm a different person now than I was, but at the same time that's just learning and growing too. So yeah, again, probably more stuff we've been live.
Toni, I am, well, this is 13 days into the water fast, and I am just having a runny nose and a lot of salty mucus, and my ears keep, plugging. I keep having to, clear it, how you clear your nose. So I'm getting a lot of drainage, which I'm thinking that's probably a good thing, but it seems like it comes late into my fast,
It doesn't matter when it comes in. I mean, it's a good thing. Stuff comes out. That is what detoxing is all about.
Right. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Come out.
Well, it hasn't even been 2 months yet. And I really don't, go by the weight, but I am dropping at least a pound a day. And since last month, I'm already 30 pounds. But I feel great. I have so much more energy, and I feel lighter. It's just amazing, that I'm actually having this detachment from, I guess you could say, the physical realm. Have you ever heard of breatharianism?
Oh, of course. And I see, I can see going in that direction, because what I find when I don't eat and I am on a fast, a water fast, lemon water fast, I have no need for food. I'm not hungry. I have energy. I feel good. I have no pain. And but before we can even consider, going that direction, we really, really have to clean out our body. toxins really have to go before you can say, okay, I can do on breath only. I don't know as much about it as I would like to. I tried to get Chris Manley on the show one time, and he said he would, but then he was busy, so it didn't happen. But I would love to talk to him at some point and have him explain more. But I listen to a lot of his shows and follow him on Facebook. But it is definitely an interesting concept, and it makes sense to me. And it started to make sense when I realized that the less I eat, the less hungry I am, and the less need I feel to have food in my body, and that my body actually feels better without food. And that the eating, as we have been doing, is more of a mental state, like, yeah, we have to eat breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks in between. When I was a kid, I didn't know about snacks. We came out of school and we grabbed an apple from a tree, often even, and that was it. But now it is, yeah, you need to have a certain breakfast, and you need this, and it needs to be wholesome, and you need to eat all the colors of the rainbow, and it is one thing after another that we get inundated with, the recipes and everything, and it's hard to get away from food. Well, I feel that without food, a lot of food, my life is a lot easier. And don't get me wrong, I love to cook. I love to create recipes, raw or cooked, and but I know it's not helping me, not mentally, not physically. So there is a message in that. It is a message in experiencing these things. And I really hope that people are willing to do that for themselves, to see, how does your body respond? How far can you get? I hear a lot, they had 3 days, or I have done it 2 weeks, and I'm still not detoxing, or I'm still not filtering. No, but it takes time. There's a lot of energy needed to detox. And in a way, it's amazing that you also say, and I have that too, that you feel more energized. But I have my moments, I'm tired, and then I just give in because my body tells me I need more energy to detox. So then that is what I do. It's but it is an amazing journey to see how your body responds to leaving the food out, to not eat. Don't tell me you have don't tell me you have smart water there. Your bottle looked like it had smart water.
I actually kind of mix my water up. I actually have some water that I got out of the Lake Tahoe. And yeah, I have some fresh spring water, and then I do have some 9.5, some alkaline water. And then I mix in minerals. But yeah, it is in a plastic bottle. I was trying to hide that from you.
Yeah. Well, it is. I do get. I forgot the name of the water that I have been using quite often. Actually, I knew Dr. Morse was using it, and it's also a spring water. And I have to discuss something, and that is about water filters. There is somebody on YouTube, and I have to find the links for that. He did a research on Berkeley water filters. Now, I think most of us who started with these gravity water filters, they started with Berkeley because that was the only one at first. And then the one that I used came on the market soon after, and that is Alexa Pure. Now, there is a lawsuit going on with Berkeley that they do not filter what they say they are filtering, and actually their water is pretty bad. So I was pretty worried about the water that I have been using, and also use it for my cats. And now the tap water goes into the Berkeley filter. Then from that filter, it goes to the distiller, and that is what I use for tea. So I don't even use tap water for my distiller. It's filtered water. But it appears that the Alexa Pure water filter, they say they filter, oh, I don't know what it is, 3, 5, or 6,000 gallons. I forgot what it was, a lot. And they have done tests, and it appears they only do, did he say 20 gallon or 200 gallon? I think it was actually only 20 gallon, which is pretty bad. Because this filter is supposed to also filter out fluoride. And the test did not reveal anything about that. It was more about all the other toxins that we find in the water, pharmaceuticals and from, well, God knows what is all in that water. And a lot of the chlorine. Now, my tap water smells like chlorine. The water that comes out of the filter does not. I will have to make sure that for next time, and maybe I can do that in the show notes, so that everyone who listens can see that. Find these two links to these videos so that everyone can hear it, because I think this is major important. Now, with the waters, we are inclined to buy, and I see that on your bottle too, alkaline water. We have to be careful with using high alkalinity water, because it's not doing us any good. Dr. Morse is also very clear about that. And I think he was like a maximum 8 to 8.5 alkalinity of water, not any higher. And I have seen even, and I used it, I've even seen alkalinity 10 on a bottle. What I mentioned when I saw your bottle, it's like, I hope you're not using the smart water. And this was so funny, because this morning in some article, I don't remember, I saw, and maybe it was an ad for smart water. And I was like, what the heck is smart water? And because it is a popular expression, smart TV, we have a smart fridge, we have a smart anything and everything. Though, what is smart water? I haven't figured it out. So if anyone has figured it out, well, let me know, because I didn't.
I think it's just a name brand. I don't think they're making alkaline water. I think that they're just adding electrolytes and stuff like that. I have had smart water. Doesn't really seem like any big deal.
No, but it's a catchy name. It's like, it's the name that people think, oh, yeah, it is smart. It must be good. It must be something special. And when you look at all the waters that have been tested, and there are a ton of water tests on YouTube. It is really interesting to see what it is, because there was a certain water that I really liked. It tasted good. And then you find out what is all in it. I mean, it's crazy. So it is, I opt mostly for distilled water. So.
Yeah. I've heard some people speak against distilled because it's lacking the minerals, but it's really the purest water. But we can always add minerals. We can make up for the minerals.
No, we don't. No, we don't. We do not
say, what minerals do you need that your body doesn't produce?
Yeah, we do not want the minerals.
I think that's where people still get very confused, is our body produces everything we need. And
we do find minerals in the fruits and in the vegetables. Yes. And there is talk about organic and inorganic minerals. There are people that say, yeah, the soil is depleted, so now we need to eat the soil, the good soil, and we eat fulvic acid, and because that has the plant food in it, so let's eat the plant food. I am like, how crazy can you get? It's like, think about it. How much sense does it make to take a shortcut? Not whatsoever. And I heard Dr. Morse once say, it is like you have a tree that bears fruit. If it doesn't get any food, it's not bearing any fruit. So the trees are smart. They're very smart. Their roots dig deeper, where they can find the nutrients they need.
Right. But our body produces what it needs, and the fruit is what gives our body the energy, or at the time, like when we're detoxing and whatnot, to heal itself with everything that it needs. The body doesn't necessarily rely on that. I need to go out and get this omegas or minerals or whatnot, because the body provides everything it needs. Hence, we can live on water. We can be breatharians and whatnot too.
I found okay, I'm sorry, Jay. I found over the years that because I did it all, I've mentioned this every time. It's like I when I look back at it, I was pretty much the queen of supplements. Supplements came before food, because I thought that was keeping me alive and that was helping me. Well, the day that I heard Dr. Morse say, like, it's a big scam and don't use it, I stopped with everything right away, and nothing bad happened to me. Actually, I started to get better also, from Dr. Morse's advice, and not only to leave out all the supplements and minerals, but I took it all, any mineral, and always the best and always the newest, and nothing changed. Not ever did I get better from anything. It didn't affect the arthritis. It didn't do anything for the psoriasis, not anything for the thyroid issues that I had. Nothing, absolutely nothing. And now it's like it is such a big industry, and everybody thinks that they have to add it because, oh yeah, but water, it doesn't have any minerals. Well, what kind of minerals do you expect? Another one will say, like, yeah, it takes out the minerals in your body. Yeah, it may take out the inorganic minerals. Your body knows what to do with it. When we go back to what was original, what kind of water would people originally drink? Was it rainwater, before it was polluted as it is? As far as I learned, is rainwater is actually pretty filtered or distilled water. It's actually distilled water. Are there any minerals in it? I don't think so. So when we drink the fruit water, life water, yes, there are minerals in it, but those are the ones that our body uses, not inorganic minerals. So you can stop with using that. It's a waste of money, and it doesn't do anything for you.
I was going to say it's expensive urine, like I've said before as well too. But when you ask the question, where do people used to get their water, but wouldn't they get them from natural springs as well too? Or
but natural springs are not everywhere. So how did people get any water where there was no natural springs?
And I know we've discussed as well too of, are we really supposed to be drinking as much water as they tell us we are supposed to? Because we gotta just keep dunking our heads in the water to get it? Or I don't know, there's so much stuff to go back and forth, but what is your take on natural spring water?
Well, I want to mention first about water at all. Once we are detoxing, I think when we get to a point that we are really healthy, we have enough of the water in the fruits. But as long as we are detoxing, we absolutely need it. Like yesterday, I was traveling, I was gone the whole day. I had one bottle of lemon water with me, and I barely finished it throughout the day. I don't ask me why, but that was just the case. The whole night I was up with, because I didn't drink enough water. I was up with cramps in my legs. And I have, and I get constipation and have that every time I'm low on water because my body is still not healthy. I mean, I wish, but I'm not there yet. Like it is an ongoing journey. And if it doesn't matter if it takes a year or 10 years, it's just a journey you are on. And for that period of time, I feel we do need the water. And I have, even when I was on about a gallon of fruit in the form of juices and fruit and watermelon, I still needed the water. And yeah, with spring water, it's, Dr. Morse will say if you can find a good quality spring water, is the one that he has been using. It actually comes from Italy. And but I like the water, so we have it. I cannot get it in glass bottles, so it is in plastic bottles. And there, you go. You don't really want that, but we do the best that we can. We do the best with what we can. Am I going to opt for my distilled water that still may have a lot of chemicals in it, or will I drink a good spring water from a known safe source, which is in plastic bottles? Figure it out.
Mhm. I know there's a website, it's called findaspring.com, and it'll list all the natural springs in the United States. I have yet to find one that's open and working, that's not on
I
someone's
did.
private property, but
Yeah, I did. And then you still have to wonder, how clear is it? And I, at one time, this was in 1981, I was traveling on a motorcycle in the Black Hills in South Dakota. And I was with a few friends, and they stopped at the side of the road, grabbed a bottle, and went into, it was kind of a ditch, and in between the grass, I saw a small, small sprinkled water coming out. And they were filling the bottles with it. And I was like, whoa, can you actually drink that? He said, it is the cleanest water that you can get. Now we're talking about 81, it's 41 years ago. When you left that water, because after 2 days, that water was no longer drinkable. But when it was fresh, it tasted great, but not after a few days. Now, is there actually, and I didn't get sick from that water. I have to say that in the United States, when I was traveling here, I always got sick from the tap water without even realizing that was the cause. And sick meant, stomach, the whole GI tract. It was like all spasms. It was pretty bad. And once I switched over to only bottled water, I was fine. So it's I don't trust the spring waters here in the United States. There's too much junk in the soil. You have the aquifers here in the United States. They are polluted. So, even the spring that we have nearby here, and I've been there many times, and it's listed on that website, and it's in Lithia Springs, and it's owned by Mosaic, actually. Can you imagine? That spring is owned by Mosaic, which is the fertilizer company here.
Oh no.
That's why we have so many lakes. That's why the community where I live, all the houses are around lakes, because it's mining. It's all mining industry. So no, the aquifers, the water from the aquifers is not clear and clean. And I doubt there are. What happens is with these springs is like a lot of them, what they explained to me in the Black Hills, it's rainwater, it goes through the mountains and dirt, and it filters out and it comes out clean. Okay. But now the rainwater is so polluted, now even more than it was 40 years ago. So it is hard to trust anything.
Hey, Toni, have you heard of the fourth phase of water? It's what comes from fruit and vegetables, because the plants actually naturally are distilling the water, and The fourth phase of water is how our body actually is truly getting hydrated. It's considered H3O2, and it is actually what the body has to convert even water into for the body to utilize it in the cellular form. So true hydration actually is coming from our food, our fruits and vegetables.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
yeah, I mean, you're so correct when you were telling your story about the not even drinking all of your lemon water. And you know, there I think there is a kind of a fallacy around the amount of water. I've heard some people drinking like gallons of water a day, or a gallon, and I think we could actually drown ourselves, because you know, if you're not even really clean or well, say for instance you're full of mucus. Mucus is trying to protect the cell. The cell's not going to absorb any of that water, and in fact the body has to convert it into this fourth phase of water to be able to use it. um I think a lot of it is commercialization, like how much bottled water can we sell to people? And we really don't need that much. What we need a lot of is probably fruit.
Well, I think we tend to compare the water in fruit with water, and it's not the same. The water does not get into your cells, and the water from fruit does. What I'm saying is that you need the water to detox, to get the toxins out of your body.
Yeah.
So that's it. But
You
when I listen to Lauren Whiteman from the Hygienic Diet, they say that you need at least a gallon of water. Well, I can barely get in a liter or a quart of water. And so a gallon. But I do have to admit that, and that this is another thing. I'm dealing with acidity. I'm dealing with arthritis. And before I knew any better, and I tried all these things, but I didn't try, to change my diet until, what is it now? It's coming up over 3 years ago. And but the arthritis was already rather advanced. And what I found with not drinking enough water, I am in not necessarily in more pain. No, I have to say it differently. Last week I drank 2 liters of lemon water in a few hours, and I felt so much better so fast that it was amazing. That is how I have to say it. And I don't know if it's the lemon added to the water that makes a difference, because now you make it life water again. So I always drink my distilled water with a lemon in it.
Now, if you're eating dried fruit, and should you make up for the dehydration with
Yes,
of the
absolutely.
fruit
You with dry fruit, it is, we have to advise it that you soak it again. But dry fruit, I like raisins, I like dates, and even figs or dried mangoes. So yes, you have to make up for the juice that is not in there anymore. But how much, it's not a meal. You don't eat and you eat a few slices of mango. You maybe eat 3 dates. So it's like I don't worry that much about dehydration with that little amount of food,
Mhm.
But we learned how to snack on things, and that is you will see that you do that less the more that you are on fruit. And even I can have a bowl with grapes next to me, and like the size of a soup bowl. I cannot even, a quart I can eat in one setting, and then I'm full or satisfied. We should not eat until we're full. We eat until we're satisfied. And that is on another thing with fruit. It's like people feel that they get hungry and they want to eat more. Well, okay, if it's 2 hours later, then you eat a little bit more. It doesn't matter. There is no set time like you have to eat because it is breakfast, lunch, or dinner. We give it up. That's not, but for me, it's easy to say give it up because, out of a week, I spend 5 days by myself because my husband is at work. And I see Annette entering the waiting room at minutes. But it's when you have to cook for others, I realize it's not that easy. And I wish I had a good answer for it other than, just you have to figure out how to make that work. It's not the easiest thing.
And I definitely think all these people that are ingesting so much water too, I mean, if your kidneys are not filtering, are you even is ingesting that water really even helping you in the first place? So I know that one of our go-to things we always say is check to see if your kidneys are filtering, pee in the jar and see what you're getting. Are you getting sediment? The water's there to help push the toxins out of your body through your kidneys. Looks like Annette is.
I
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Annette.
I was just gonna say, about the dried fruit.
Didn't work. I'm sorry, Annette. I hope you can hear us. I saw you coming on. I admitted you, but I see your could not connect with audio. Sometimes it takes a while before that works. So don't give up. If you have a question, please do put it in the chat if we can answer anything. Okay, I want to go back a minute before we move on. It's about the ebook that I've been putting together. Last week I promised people, sent me an email to healthywithfruit@gmail.com, and I will send you a copy, but you will have to go through it for me and promise to give me feedback. And with feedback, I mean, I would like to know what you feel is way too scientific in there and not of any, interest, or if there is something you wish that was in there because you have questions about that. And it's not only, you may want to share it with people that are not on this healing journey yet. I in a way that you talk about it. Please, when I send this to you, don't start sharing it on the internet because that will cause me a lot of issues. It was meant to share with my clients as a guidebook to help them through their journey, on their health path. And that is all. It's not a book that is going to be available on Amazon or in any other way. There's a lot of work going in there, but it is part of the consultations that I do to help people. And because you guys here, you're all special to me, and I want to learn more about what your questions are and how I can improve on it. And I touched on a lot of topics in that ebook, or it's a PDF. It is printable, and I did say I can print it out for you and put it in a binder, but it's over 200 pages, so that's a lot of ink and a lot of wear on my poor little brother printer. So maybe someday I'll buy a laser printer for that, but I haven't done that yet. So that is on, special request. And I do realize it's not easy to read it on a phone. But a computer, laptop, tablet, that will do. It is possible on a phone. You can read it and you can read the topics. It will have an extensive index at the end of it. But okay, I think it's clear, I hope, what I'm looking for with this, because I want to make this journey for everybody as easy as possible, and in a way make it fun, because if you drag yourself through this and you have nothing but complaints, it's not going to work. You're not healing. It's so a different mindset is needed. It's like feeling that you're in control of your health, and that you don't need the worries or run to an ER because you have a pain somewhere, because you realize what it is. You realize what is happening in your body, and that is what it's all about. It is not as difficult as doctors have made you believe, with I don't know how many thousands of diseases we have. We don't. We have one disease, and that is toxicity, acidosis in the body, and that causes you all kinds of conflicts in the body. There's no balance, and that is what we want to get to. So anyway, that is what I wanted to get in here.
Absolutely. I agree with that. And thank you so much for taking the time and sharing all this with us. I mean, just even what you do weekly is amazing. And I know that we're all so very appreciative of it, and putting it all together in the book. I mean, it's just a true gift, and we're all so thankful.
And I have another thing that I do want to talk about, because something is changing for me. I have the last 3 years, I have worked for donations only. And I have to admit that it's tough. So I started, and I have to say it differently. I was contacted by a company. It's called heal.me. They have all the, call it now, alternatives, modalities, from acupuncture to massage to well, anything, all kinds of modalities. And she wanted me to be a part of that. So I looked into it. It took me, at least half a year or even longer to make a page ready and put prices up. And I finally did. I give people the opportunity to choose out of a big variety of options. And still, if someone would not be able to afford counseling, I'm still there. Even if I would appreciate, of course, if there is some energy exchange in money for the work that I do. You can get to the website two ways. You can go to Toni Weel, ToniWeel.com, and it directs you to heal.me, //Toni Weel, ToniWeel. And there you get an overview of the services that I offer. So it's like, it doesn't mean that I won't be helping people who can absolutely not afford it, because I always will. That is just, that is what we do. We help each other. But at some point, some money needs to come in.
Absolutely. And I'm posting it right now, the link into the chat here. And I hope to one day finish everything too, and be right part of that with the Dr. Morse practitioners or detox specialists, or maybe even one of the naturopaths. So we'll see where my journey takes me as well.
Yeah, Dr. Morse has his school is expanding to the naturopath direction. We were all already into that direction, because he always says, a real naturopath, it is about nature. And what we see nowadays, and that includes actually the chiropractors too, they all go into the supplements, because that is where the money has been made. And I studied for health coaching. My God, that is now 9 years ago, 10 years, almost.
Mm-hmm.
And I never worked with it because it didn't sit right with me. You work with a client and you see what kind of diet they want to follow and you guide them through that. And it was like, that's not right. That's not what works. And I knew it wasn't working because I've tried them all. And so all these years, I actually didn't do much with it. And then I saw all these people. It's like, oh my gosh, you can actually have whatever kind of even organic supplements, what they call organic, because as soon as it's in the lab, to me, it's not that organic anymore. Supplements and minerals under your own name. And very, very briefly, well, what is it, 6, 7 years ago, I was actually thinking about that. But I didn't do it because something didn't feel right. I mean, that's your intuition. And that's another thing we always have to listen to. I feel that it's God talking to me. We got that intuition, and we have to listen to that. So it is, but going back to the naturopaths who are mostly on the path of prescribing a ton, and actually a ton of supplements, and they're doctors, and it's still into, now it's not pharmaceuticals from the allopathic industry. No, now it's the supplements from the alternative healers. And Dr. Morse is very much against that, and he is very clear about it. A real naturopath does not subscribe any supplements. And
I
with
was
supplements,
drugged.
with supplements, I don't mean the herbs, but you know what I mean.
Yep. I was drugged through all that too. And, I'm glad I was, though, because then that showed me that was the path I didn't want to be on either. And everything happens for a reason. There are no mistakes, no matter if they're good or bad. And everything that happens to you in some way, shape, or form, you do allow it to happen. So try to just, be on the path of the straight and the narrow. It is not an easy path, even though it is simple. And, be virtuous in every way that you can be. That's all we can do. And God knows exactly where we are and what we've been dealt with. And he knows what's in our true heart. The true of truths is within our hearts, and he knows it all. And so all you can do is do the best with what you have access to.
And you know what, Sarah? There's actually a certain logic to it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yeah, if it's not logic, then it doesn't make sense. And when it doesn't make sense, then why the heck are we doing it? Because somebody else tells us that we have to do it. We have our sense. We know it is right, but still, we get brainwashed,
distracted. Mm-hmm. That's what everything is about too, is distraction to keep us from going within. So all answers are within. Everything is within.
It is. And I find life beautiful. Doesn't mean it's easy. Ego plays a big part in the end. You have to let go. I heard Colleen this morning say, it's 90% to the right. It's the 90-10 balance, 90-10% balance. Yep. And that made sense to me, and we'll get there.
Yep. And go out in nature and go within, go out in nature, be with amongst the trees, especially the older trees, touch them and just be amongst them. I mean, God gave us dominion over this earth, and, we're here to protect it and to take care of it. And we've been brainwashing into raping it, but we need to protect it and be its guardians and be virtuous in those your path. There was I think his name is Jordan Peterson. I heard him say something too, is that we should all be dangerous people, but we should know the reason we are to be dangerous is so that we can protect it, and that we can stand up to things, and we can defend stuff when it's meant to be defending. Just because we're virtuous and we're kind people doesn't mean that we are weak people. We should be very dangerous people, but know how to control that, and therefore we can stand up against things when they come. So put on the armor of God, be virtuous, and be prepared to protect our earth, because this is what God has given us dominion over.
Absolutely. Thank you. Two quick things was to Dave Trillis. Can you please resend your mail? I looked for it and I don't see it. And Grant, I live in Bartow, Florida. It's just south of Lakeland, kind of in between Orlando and Florida. Central Florida. So I think we did not forget any questions. I forgot to say, Yvonne, I had another screen open. I had my Zoom screen open. I didn't see you all coming in. So thank you all for being here. We're gonna try one more time. Annette tries to join us. We have to try this and see if she can connect to audio now. So we wait a little for her before we end.
Yep. And JB, thank you so much, Juan. Thank you so much for joining. Happy late born day. We hope you had an amazing adventure. Those are all places that are definitely on my bucket list. I hope to see them one day and experience them firsthand.
Thank you.
Lake Tahoe
thank
was actually on my very first trip in the United States in '81. I was there on a motorcycle again. And that was when I first ate in the morning for breakfast, I ate a grapefruit. I had never had a grapefruit in my life. Isn't that something? And that was my breakfast, and that was at Lake Tahoe. I still remember the place where I was. It's so beautiful out there. I think Annette has sound now. So Annette, welcome. And yeah, let me hear you.
Hi. Glad I finally found my way in.
You are there. What would you like to share with us or ask us?
Well, I wanted to ask about muscle testing and how reliable is that for, well, say dosaging with the tinctures from Dr. Morse and, well, also just our foods. How reliable is that?
I have used it pretty much my whole
how it works.
I have pretty much used it my whole life. And what can I say? It works. I've used different methods, and like the standing up and then feet a little apart, and you take a deep breath and you ask the question, and then you either go forward or you go backwards. And it didn't work as well for me, because when you're in a store and you want to know if you should buy certain food, this was actually, I used to that when way before I knew about Dr. Morse. But I used your index finger and thumb, and you interconnect those. And they are either strong or weak. Weak stands for a no, and strong stands for a yes. So I will actually, in the ebook or the PDF with the articles, I have a section about muscle testing in there. Mm-hmm. And I do feel it helps. As with the dosing, I'm not using it for that. I haven't used it now for a long time, because with the fruits, I learned how my body talks to me without doing the muscle testing. It is like, if it makes me feel good, then it is good. I don't need to have that question with muscle testing. As with the dosing, it is, just go with what's on the bottle. When you just start out, the first 2 weeks, go half a dose, maybe, 2/3 of a dose. Instead of 3 times a day, do 2 times a day, or you do 1 squeeze of a dropper instead of 2 squeezes. Mm-hmm. And let your body talk in a way that feel, because I think we do not have a good connection with the responses of our body. And I think that is important. And that is, for me, a reason I don't do the muscle testing anymore. But yeah, I can see where where you want to use it. Maybe, you know, if a certain fruit is ripe enough, if your body would like it, but I have my taste buds and they tell me right away. But sometimes, you know, when you're in the store, it's like, should I buy this or should I buy that? And that is how I have been using it. But that is the easiest way and the most, people don't see what you do if you just, you know, interlock your thumb and your index finger. You can do that hidden. So that is what always used to work. But I would say, you know, you can go by the dosage on the bottles and see how your body is doing.
Okay, just kind of start out with a low and work yourself up, huh?
Yeah, that is what because, you know, I did it. I used like 15 formulas at a time. I had no bad response to it, but for other people, my husband does. He is maybe less toxic and more sensitive, and then there are people who can only use two at a time, and it's I was like, oh gosh, I need so many of these things. I use them all. Dr. Morse even jokes about it. He had a lady who actually did use them all, for not the ones for specifically for men, but she did use them all, like 25 at a time. And he was like, well, it worked for her, but he always said, you know, 6 to 8 to use at one time. And you can put them all together in a bottle. In a glass, and I always add a little tea or some filtered water to it.
Okay.
And, to make it drinkable, and then you have the choice between the alcohol and the other one, the glycerin one. And since I never drink, I have to say that the first time I took a glass of those formulas, it got me a little like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm drunk, and I've never been drunk in my life. To be aware of that, and that's the same when it's being used for kids. Don't use the alcohol ones, use the glycerin ones, or burn it off with hot tea. You can do that too.
Yeah, my first I think I did like 8 different formulas at one time when I first started, and I did feel drunk. It was I didn't like that feeling, so I started burning it off, and that worked out okay. So I just went over to the glycerins. You know. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say I did that too, going over to the glycerins.
Yeah. So I guess my other question was, I was having a conversation with my sister a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking about the LCAT testing, and I was reading up on it, but I don't know, how reliable is the LCAT testing? And is there something that is more reliable than that for food allergies, you know, for chemicals and stuff like that?
I wouldn't even worry about it, because what are you going to do? They tell you you're allergic to, mine was cigarette smoke, and because I got asthma because of that. And so my solution was stay away from the cigarette smoke. Now, I grew up in a household where everybody was allergic. My mother was allergic to many things. My sister too, for wool and chocolate and cats. And when you start on this detox journeys, your allergies go away. So what is the use to know what you are allergic for? Because then what are you going to do? Stay away from it. You know, it's a good thing to stay away from cigarette smoke. So that was one thing. I mean, even if I smell it now, it still bothers me. But they will tell you, you get a whole list of what you're allergic to. So now what? All we can do is heal the body. And over the years, actually, allergies do change. And it's like, we don't want to hang on to that. Oh my God, I'm allergic to cats. I've seen that when I had some visitors in my house, and cats were right in the living room. And this lady had been there for hours. We had been chatting. The cat did not show up, but the cat was there. I did not know about her cat allergies. And at some point, the cat came out and she saw the cat and she was like, oh my God, a cat. I am so allergic. And then the sneezing started.
Uh-huh. Oh, wow.
Think about that one.
Uh-huh.
So sometimes we hang on to things and the body responds to that. And I thought that was really, really interesting. We're not supposed to have allergies. And what I remember is that Dr. Morse one time mentioned it had to do with your adrenals. But you know what? We're on this journey to heal. But if you have someone in your family where you know it's allergic and you want to help them, well, get them on that same journey if they want to get rid of their allergies. But we are so like, okay, my mother used pharmaceuticals her whole life for her allergies. It burned pretty much everything down what was in her nose. It kind of completely disappeared from bone and all. And and it was never helping her. She still had all the allergies. So and I do realize how hard it is when you have hay fever, and didn't you have something with that, Sarah? Didn't you mention that at one time?
I'm sorry, I was answering the comments over here.
Okay.
Repeat that.
Did you have hay fever? Did you have allergies?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And
okay, tell me how it goes now.
I don't I am wondering though, that's what I've talked about, I think a couple shows ago, where I'm wondering how I'm going to fare through the winter. Because usually around like January, February frame, we usually get that just where it's the runny nose and then goes down to the throat. And my voice, to me, it sounds like it's starting to get like a little bit more high pitched, where I guess I'm kind of getting rid of some of the raspy kind of mucusy that's been around my voice box for probably so many years. But so far, I mean, so good. So we'll see where we go this year too. And I'm constantly, like I said earlier in the show, we've been working probably almost 14-hour days out in the field and cutting trees, bringing stuff in, burning. I'm always in a barn. I'm always around animals. So we'll see how it goes through the winter though, when the detox really kicks in with the cold weather.
Yeah. With the cold weather coming up, I'm struggling with, I'm weaning myself off of cooked foods, and I'm looking ahead, and I know I shouldn't do that, but I'm having a hard time this year with staying away from the cooked foods, just the vegetables and stuff like that. But it's not too bad, but I want to get off of the cooked foods totally.
I mean, keep in mind too that a lot of your vegetables are cellulose, which is wood, so your body can't really break it down. And it's not so much that the food that really warms us up. Muscle is what really keeps you nice and warm too. So look at some ways of like, I'm not a fan of like building muscle, like in the gyms and stuff like that. I know a lot of people do, and everybody's on their own journey, but I'm more of like, if you can find a nice saltwater pool or even a fresh pond or something, swimming, walking for sure, and good old fashioned yard work.
Yeah, I do a lot of that here. The leaves are really falling.
Yep. And in my family too, we always say dress for the weather. I mean, if it's cold outside, we shouldn't be laying around the house in our shorts. So, put some socks on, put some pants on.
Yeah, at my age, those aches and pains really set in.
They do, for sure.
Yeah. So, I was going to ask too with the ALCAT testing, and she's allergic to aloe vera, and I know that some of the, I think it's the Heal All tea has aloe vera in it. She tests positive for aloe vera, so should she just totally stay away from aloe vera? Are they like formulated different or processed different? Do you think?
I think it is just a way of try it out, and does he know there's aloe vera in it? The mind can play tricks on you. When knowing that you are, no, not when knowing, because you don't know, but you have, once a person has been told they are allergic for something. She is allergic to aloe vera.
Yeah.
Now she is like, oh my God, there's aloe vera in Hilalti. I cannot drink it. Maybe she can. Because then you stop trying, and then you stop healing, and then you start worrying, and worrying is never healing.
Good point.
So it is, yeah, and my God, do I know how your body can keep play tricks on you. Now there is one that is very helpful in healing, and that is Dr. Morse's tree lung tea. It only has mullein leaf, pleurisy root, and fenugreek seeds, and it helps a little. It actually moves the lymph a little. So even when your kidneys are not filtering yet, you can use that.
Okay. Oh, that's
That
good
is,
to know.
yeah, that is a very, very good one that we suggest everybody to do that. And I'm now looking at the Heal Alti, and what has it? Yeah, and well, it has aloe resin in it.
Right.
So no, I wouldn't worry about that. But you know, it's always listen to the body. I mean, I had to get used to that taste of the Heal Alti. Did not like it whatsoever.
Okay.
But and actually, it also has the mullein leaf in it too. And it's, you know, it is one that should be in every household. I think everyone should drink at least a cup a day of it.
I do
A day
too.
of that and a cup a day of the tree lung tea.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, there are other great teas too. I mean, he has a new one now, the Ultimate Herbal Blends.
Yeah. I can't wait to try that one.
I do have it, but I haven't tried it yet. It has it is similar actually to the Heal Alti.
Okay.
It has a lot of the same ones in it. So you take either or, don't take them both.
Okay.
And it also has yeah, it has the aloe vera resin in it. Now, I don't know if Dr. Morse does that too, that the ones that is on the top has the most in it, like you usually have when you read labels.
Mm-hmm.
I do have somewhere the ingredients and how much is in of everything, but that is at least 5 years old, and the formulas have been changed. So when you sent me an email to healthywithfruit@gmail.com, I will dig that one up and send it to you and see if you can, you know, make your own combinations.
Okay.
Because that is, you know, with tea, that's always easy to do.
Okay, cool. I'll do that.
Okay, we went, if you don't have any more questions, we went over.
That's it for me. Thank you so much for taking my questions.
Yeah, feel free to send an email. And yeah, we are at 1.5 hours, which is unusual for us, but we know that we can go on for hours if it comes to it.
Absolutely. Everything happens for a reason, like I said. So.
Very true. I'm happy you could make it on, Annette, and would love to hear your experiences next week, because we will be there again.
Okay.
Sounds
Yeah.
great.
I can
Thank
come
you so
on.
much, Annette and Juan, for joining. And thank you, everyone in the chat. We love you all.
Yeah, and thanks everyone for being here. It's always an absolute joy to do these things. I always look forward to it, and hearing your experience and questions and learning from you. I got attacked by a cat again, of course.
She said, "You didn't let me talk enough."
She couldn't get on my lap. So she has nails, and don't even think I can clip them.
Oh my goodness.
Okay,
Well,
so
thank you
I
all
would
so
say
much.
love you all. Thank you for being here again. Love you, Sarah, for everything that you do. I mean, you know so much already, and I always
Adios.
all your
Adios.
everything.
Au revoir.
Okay.
Well, thank you, and love to you
Bye,
too,
ladies.
Tony. Bye, Juan. Bye, Annette. Thank you all so
Bye.
much.
Yeah,
Bye.
till the next time, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye bye. Love you.